Hello and welcome to all the fashion lifestyle followers, viewers, readers, fans. Back with the celeb chat, and we have the glamorous lady you see in between me and Richa is Advocate Aishwarya. And while we were chatting at the back end, Aishwarya. So when you're talking about dates, so yes, ladies and gentlemen, she is into dating, but not the dating that you know. She's a mix of glamour and intellect. So beauty with brains, as it is commonly known as. And of course, it's our privilege and pleasure to have Advocate Aishwarya. Isn't it, Richa? Back with Aishwarya after such a long time. Richa, can you hear me? I think there is a Richa. Can you hear me? Aishwarya,
I
can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Though I missed a part, but yes, of course. Talking about Aishwarya, knowing her from past 2.5 years now, it goes back to the time when we started this company, Fashion Lifestyle Magazine. From the very first shoot, she being associated to now, she has grown over the time. So to start with, I would request Aishwarya to make us go through her journey, per se, from being an advocate to being a beautiful model to being an actor to being into so many things which she does. So I feel that Aishwarya, now it's time that you tell our viewers about you in detail.
Thank you so much, Rita, and thank you so much, Sharaji, for wonderful description about me. Yes, 2 years, 2.5 years back when we met, we were on different level. Now we all are grown into our respective spheres, and I think it's always pleasure talking to you. So, talking about myself now, I practice mainly in the corporate laws, sexual harassment of women at workplace related cases, and consumer protection laws. So those are my prime areas when it comes to advocacy. Other than that, I am also a trained Kuchipudi dancer who holds the Guinness Book of World Record. I also have acted in multiple Marathi and multilingual films. Reason being that I have a theater background. I worked in Marathi and multilingual theater plays earlier, from where I bagged my opportunities in the creative field, in the films, in the short films, documentaries. Some of our short films, off late, I got a message and mail that they qualified for some of the fantastic international film festivals. So because they talk about awareness relating to multiple things, be it about education, be it about diseases like Alzheimer's. So I'm really fortunate to have got an opportunity to work into multiple things, So I think God's been really kind. But since my childhood, I've been very, very active in creative field as well as studies. So probably that might be the reason why I work in two different things at a time.
No, Richa would agree with me, and so would the thousands of followers who are watching us now and who will be probably watching us later. That it's not just two things: a kuchipudi dancer, then an advocate, a corporate lawyer, an actor, a model, and she's also into theater. So I mean, I don't know how they add up to two things. That's very modest of you to say. But Aishwarya, that brings curiosity to everybody's mind. Which of these multiple fields that you work in excites you the most, and why?
Oh God, you touched something that I really didn't want to answer because I can't really choose from these two.
We only ask
I
questions which you don't want to answer.
answer being, I think, reason being that probably because the more I am into creative field, the more I'm working in, be it in theaters, because rehearsing for so long and keeping in mind and being well versed with 3 hours script is not easy. So that thing helps me in while I put forth my arguments in front of courts, because I can memorize things very well. Similarly, when I have that sort of a field where I get exposed to people, I can argue, I can be on the forefront of arguments when it comes to litigations, or when it comes to even practicing law. That thing kind of builds confidence into my creative field. So I'm all the more confident when it comes to stage performances. So, or on camera performances. So I think it's very difficult to choose from both these. And if I'm doing both these things, I'm better at both the things. If I don't do either of the things, because for past 1.5 years, we have been rehearsing in our theater clubs over scripts and voice modulation. We have been dubbing. We have been doing editing part of our films that we had shot earlier. So though we were active that way, we were not performing because of the lockdown and because of the COVID restrictions here in Pune, in Mumbai, everywhere. So that was also the reason why I really
No,
feel
no,
some of
no.
my part is.
Just a moment. Let me just interrupt you with humble apologies. Richa, did you notice something that the memorizing helps in the court cases? The memorizing the scripts for 3 hours helps in court cases. And a part of me is a lawyer as well. And the acting also while you're doing the, my lord, this is what I would want to say now. You have to listen. So that acting aspect also goes into the court cases. Is that correct?
Very much, very
See?
much. But of course, the areas are different. There, you have to talk on the points of law and points of facts. In acting, we have all together a different script, so it's all scripted. Arguments can't always be scripted, so that's the difference. But these two fields, many people ask, how come these two diverse fields you have chosen? How do you manage and all? But I really feel there is nothing diverse. I don't find there is so much of interlinking, because even when you are on stage, you are performing as a part of your character. When you are in courts, you're presenting yourself as a part of an advocate. So the roles change for me, but there is a lot of interlinking happening. I don't know. I don't really feel I'm into two different fields. I
Wonderful.
really don't feel.
Yes, Richa.
That's your way of saying this. But for the people who are listening to you, I'm sure they must be saying, "Wow, what a multi personality she is." Aishwarya, I had this question about different things, different genres which you are working currently, and something which you like. But last 1.5 years have took everybody down. You
Yeah.
also stated that you were not able to cope up with your shoots, though you were doing the dubbing and everything. So I would like you to take our viewers on that front, that how has this pandemic impacted your career or your way of doing things which you used to do earlier?
Definitely, it has impacted in some or the other way, for the very reasons that the courts, the hearings are happening now, as I spoke to Sharadji some time back. They're happening virtually. There is no physical presence all the time required by the courts. There have been, of course, some top priority matters or some very crucial matters that require physical presence, and still courts are operative for it. But, when it comes to fields relating to law, I feel there are things that we are able to do it even by taking next dates, but we are able to cope up with the situation when it comes to practice. When it comes to another field, that is creative, I think majority of the people have been affected, not just the actors or the directors or the producers, but also all the unit members, everyone in the crew, because there are so many restrictions. Apart from that, even if you have little fever, you cannot perform that day, or you cannot be there present infecting others, keeping in mind health of other people as well. So that has definitely impacted onto the number of shows that you take up in a month for theaters, and the number of days of shoots as well. Also the number of people you are required to shoot. Like, we don't keep multiple shots on the same day. We rather keep limited people on schedule on one day, and then we shoot their part. So that's what we have been doing. So it has impacted. But what I feel socially that has impacted me, Richa, is that off late I have been receiving some of the emails or some of the messages, on WhatsApp, where they display that unfortunately the parents of a child or a baby have passed away owing to COVID, and the child is up for adoption. So, that is something I really find, that who posts them, who starts, posting them. Now, I agree, not it is not possible for everyone to have knowledge, in detailed knowledge about laws relating to adoption. But ignorance of law cannot be an excuse, So you should be at least having the basic things in mind, that this is not the way you can put a child to adoption, because it's a question of a life of a baby who doesn't know life and death. And whatever has happened to his parents, he has nothing to do with it. It's all because of COVID. So go through the central portal, because in India there is there is centralized adoption resource authority, which is called as CARA, under the Ministry of Child and Women Development. Adoptions happening through CARA are only legal adoptions, be it even in relatives or outside of relations. But if you have these sort of adoptions, these are not legal adoptions. You cannot directly go and get the child, their custody, go to the court and get orders and all. Keeping aside the Juvenile Justice Act, keeping aside the HAMA, going technical if at all. This CARA is central agency, is the only agency which validates or which gives authority for valid adoptions. So I personally do not support illegal adoptions, because they amount to human trafficking and child abuse. So that is one thing socially which I feel has impacted me as a person or a social creature.
All right. That's a very touching issue, and very rightly said. I mean, an adoption need not necessarily be an adoption. It could be in disguise, an attempt to traffic little children. Well, in the meanwhile, thanks Ananya, thanks Ritika, thanks Debashish for wonderful comments. People, as usual, are admiring your presence, Aishwarya, and why not? You got all the merits to be admired on screen and off screen. Let's change gears, Aishwarya, for a minute. I have personally been attending over the last several years, umpteen number of seminars, symposiums, get-togethers, those meetings on an issue which every woman talks about, which is women empowerment. Now, I feel that women empowerment is more talked about than being actually followed. I find there are a lot of seminars, there are a lot of discussions which go on, and there's a lot of inqilab, zindabad. We women will come together. But when it comes to delivering it on ground, when it comes to implementing women empowerment in practice, in reality, I still personally find that there is a huge gap. There is a word in Hindi called kathni and karni. कहने में और करने में जमीन आसमान का फर्क है. आज भी महिलाओं के साथ जो भेदभाव होता है, which becomes very evident. So you being a crusader in several fields, have you come across, am I right? I mean, have you come across that discrimination? Is that discrimination still there? Is it more in words, less in thoughts and action? Or things have really changed on ground? What do you have to say?
Very wonderful question. I would say it was a wonderful question, because honestly speaking, this was the thing that I would really want to answer. This reminds me of an incident years back when I started my practice in corporate laws. Though I was this third generation lawyer, people think, it's so easy for people having already set practices and all, but my specialization was different. My specialization was corporate laws, while my cousins were into family laws, labor laws, taxation laws. So everyone has to pave their own ways, right? So after me completing my graduation, my postgrad, and then having corporate and law firm related work experience in consumer protection laws and corporate laws, I started my own practice. That's when I remember one fine day when there is this bar room where all the women together discuss about their issues and all at Central Bar Room. And there was a discussion happening as to how clients or the companies sometimes do not rely on an independent practicing woman advocate. Because, what if she gets married tomorrow and settles overseas? What if she pursues her higher studies overseas? What if she goes on a maternity leave? What will happen to us? Even if she has a staff, we don't want to rely on her. We want her expertise, So many things crop up. Of course, me being no exception, have heard these sort of comments. And unfortunately, these comments came from a woman HR.
Wow.
So this reminds me, I'll tell you why, because like most of the times it happens that we say, men are making lives of women difficult and all. Why always blame men? There are women also who are making other women's lives difficult. So, having said that, I feel that ultimately your performance, the results that you fetch, matter most, because that company of whose HR said this thing is still my client. So I really feel that it's nothing to do with your gender. It's all to do with your performance, knowledge, experience, expertise, and abilities. So the opportunities have to be given equally to both the genders, irrespective of what their age is, or which phase of life she stands at. Whether she's married, she's not married, she's got children or not got children, or she's nearing retirement or what. Irrespective of that, if somebody has expertise, knowledge, skill, abilities, trust it, give them the opportunity. Talking about creative field now, I have so far, by God's grace, never experienced something like this. But yes, there happen to be discrimination on the part of some of the production houses who kind of pay less to a woman character, and having the same screen time, they pay more to the man, a male character. So I think that is discriminatory. So that's something I've heard of. I've not experienced it.
Okay, yeah, I'm not surprised because you come across the discrimination in so many areas. I'm glad you're fortunate enough to have not faced, but we do meet as part of the magazine. We meet, isn't it, a lot of women who and Aishwarya said something very well. Not that because I am from the from your opposite gender, so I am saying, but there's a lot of women have said that women are the biggest enemies of other women rather than men. So I mean, I don't know why that happens, because normally one should be supporting, your own gender in such matters. But for some unknown reason, only probably a woman can tell as to why that happens. But yes, Richa.
I cannot agree more, and I'm sure Aishwarya knows this very well because we were talking about something similar to this like 2 years back, and we still stand by this. And I'm glad that she took that topic out because it's so true. I mean, I don't want to, talk about my industry per se, but it's overall, whatever we do, and we know that, you know, uh, the biggest. I mean, we know that we will be shook down by another woman, and that's something which we have inherited, and we know that this is gonna happen, and we are okay with that because you cannot change the entire world. You can just aim and focus to what you really want in life, and that's what I remember. And this is something which I also agree because I have been coping up a lot of other things too in life and in terms of my career. But yes, I have also experienced similar things. So Aishwarya, uh, of course, talking about women empowerment, talking about the you being the advocate. What's next? So what's next for you? Is it
Sorry,
something?
will you pardon? Sorry.
I'm saying what's next. I mean, what's your future plans? What are you focusing on next, and where we can see you next?
Oh, in multiple things relating to law, especially in the corporate field, and at the same time, hopefully in multilingual projects, because I really like playing with different languages. Though I can speak rehearsed dialogues, not unrehearsed dialogues. But since I hail from Karnataka as well, my mother is from Karnataka and my father is from Maharashtra. So there has been a mix of both the cultures, and then there has been in the family Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, sometimes
Wow.
Tamil, and English, Hindi. So that was the reason why I really felt that yes, I have broader spectrum to experiment into different things. But I would not end up doing every other opportunity. I would definitely do something that wins my heart. Probably it has to be, so far whatever I have done is based on a good script. If the script is good, if the character is good, I take it up. And of course, it's always on commercial basis, but it is not something that just because you're getting paid well, you will end up doing some projects. No, I would do it based on its merits. That's all.
All right, all right.
So
That sounds
hopefully
good.
both the fields.
Yeah,
There are a lot of
sounds good. Uh, yeah, yes, Richa, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was saying that I'm sure that a lot of people have noted it down for Aishwarya, knowing that for her the project matters, and for her that's something which she's looking up to in the coming times. So there are a lot of people who are from the industry and will be watching this show in the next 24 to 48 hours, and even after that, you never know, Aishwarya, you get a call from FLM.
Maybe.
Okay, so So, Aishwarya, before we near the end of the show, one more question which I just can't stop myself from asking. Being a woman, being a mother to, being a wife, being a daughter-in-law, um, and a very commonly asked question, but I think no better person than Aishwarya to ask, where is that balance of family and work life for a woman like you?
It all depends on how you plan your schedule. I think there is no to nothing, to be very honest. It all depends on how you manage the rest of your hours apart from your work. If you're working all the time and if you're not giving enough time to yourself and your family, I don't think so that's really something you have achieved. So I personally feel a person for me is an achiever when he or she is doing good in their careers at the same time having good work-life balance. So for me, I think I make sure that on Sundays I spend time with the family. The rest of the days, of course, you're busy. But the night time or the dinner, we always make sure that we spend time together, all of us in the family, because ultimately it's because of them I could achieve so much. So I can't be ungrateful in any way, because if if I absolutely keep them aside and think that okay, this is me, I can't really be what I am today without the support of everyone in the family, right from my parents to my nephews, everyone. Without from because for my shoots my nephews were present many times. So I really feel without their support I would have not been here where I am. I wouldn't have been happier than what I am. So not giving them time is not really justified. Just plan your hours accordingly, that you give at least 1 hour hour of the day to yourself, to have physical activities like gymming or yoga, and the rest of the hours you plan as per your convenience. Like when it comes to work, I work like from morning till 6:30, and 6:30 onwards I am off for the rehearsals of my theaters. So I come back home at 9:30, then we have dinner. So there is ample time that you can manage. So it all depends on how you manage things.
Fantastic. So I think, Richa, the key word which Aishwarya has given is there's a lot of planning, a lot of thinking which goes in work-life balance is not easy. And sometimes, Aishwarya, you would agree with me that no 2 days are alike. Sometimes there is a sudden family commitment, there is a festival, and there is your theater call, there is your afternoon is the case, as a court case, and then at the same time there is a relative popping in, there's a dinner, lunch at home, some in-law wants something, and your own family wants something, and so on and so forth. So I think there's a lot of thinking which goes into Richa, isn't it? That's what I could make out from what Aishwarya said.
Absolutely. And having said that, Ashwarya, I'm sure that you have been able to, master it all, because knowing you personally and being a diva which you are, star. I mean, I remember your that sky blue picture on the magazine when you were the face of the magazine, or the very first edition. From then till now, I have seen the changes. I've seen the multiple things which you have been coping up on daily basis. So I, and of course Sharad, on behalf of the entire team of Fashion Lifestyle Magazine, would like to congratulate you for that. And
Thank you
we
so
would
I
much.
think I think Richa, you're facing some
like to
network
wish you
issues,
all
so
the very best
so
for
let
making
me.
it.
Yeah, Richa is facing some network issue, but I think Richa has conveyed what she wanted to, and absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we have Advocate Aishwarya, the multi-dimensional woman from Pune, an absolute, I would say, idol for all the women who want to do all that they are passionate about in life, from acting to being a lawyer, from being a theater artist to being a very successful mother, wife, just about everything. I think a perfect example, and I'm sure a lot of people, Aishwarya, will get inspired from you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the celeb chat, and the way we had this wonderful celebrity amongst us, we will continue to do so in the times to come. And I can assure you, and so can Richa, that we'll bring to you those people who really matter to the country, who can really inspire you in your lives ahead. So thank you very much and all the best. Until we
Thank,
meet again, good luck. Take care, Ashwarya. See you
thank you
at
so
some
much,
point
Sharad.
later.
Yes. Thank you so much, Richa.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
everyone.
much.
Thank you.